What's up everybody, it's Eternal Hokage here, welcome to the video. Today we're going to talk about Boruto episode 52, but before I start talking about the episode, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the new opening and on the new ending. Actually, I'm just going to mention the ending briefly because I did a live reaction to the third opening, and after the live reaction I gave my thoughts. So if you haven't seen that video, it's going to pop up at the end screen of this video. Yeah, you will have the opportunity to watch it after you finish this video, or you can just go straight away, I don't know. Now about the ending, I'm gonna make a separate video talking about the ending tomorrow. Let me just tell you this, the fifth Boruto ending is probably my favorite anime ending, and I'm referring to all anime that I saw, and I'm not even joking. It was so beautiful. The animations in the ending were just out of this world. I really liked the song, which is of course me being subjective. Somebody may like it, somebody may not. But you know, I already mentioned this in my Boruto opening 3 live reaction video. Naruto Shippuden ending 27 and Boruto ending 5 are some of my favorite anime endings. With that said, let's finally get into the review. Before I start talking about the episode, I need to say this. The last episode, which was episode 51, and this episode, episode 52, are pretty much 2 parts of the same story. Now, what do I mean? Obviously, in the last episode, the Momoshiki arc started. Obviously, episode 50 was the flashback episode, and episode 51 marked the beginning of an arc. And this, so to say, Momoshiki arc is basically part of the Boruto story. But specifically, these 2 episodes are connected because in the last episode, I'm not going to recap the entire thing, but basically, Team 7 entered that cave or whatever. And in this episode, they had their fight against Zetsu. So as I said, these 2 episodes are really connected together. And it will be impossible for me not to refer to the last episode when reviewing the 52nd episode. In my opinion, I think this episode was a step back from last episode, which doesn't mean that it was bad. I did enjoy it, but overall, episode 51 was better. It was simply a better episode. And obviously, everything that I'm going to say in this video is my personal opinion. I don't want to repeat that sentence until the end. So, nothing here is facts. Well, some things are facts. But in my opinion, Boruto episode 51 was just miles better than episode 52. Episode 52 gave off a very, very strange vibe. Obviously, it was beautiful at points. You know, when Kakugo, my favorite Boruto soundtrack, played, and you know, when Konohamaru was talking to Team 7, that was all beautiful. But then one part of me says, damn, what are you doing to Konohamaru's character? You could make an argument that he's not too intelligent, but he's not stupid, okay? Like, when he told them to go back by themselves, that was so bad. I mean, I wouldn't expect that from a stupid person, and it was so predictable that somebody was gonna say, we're gonna get ambushed, so let's go with you. And obviously, Sarada said it, I believe. And that was, in my opinion, too predictable that, you know, Sarada was gonna say it, and it was too stupid from Konohamaru. Also, his speech lasted for quite some time. I don't know exactly how many seconds or minutes, but you know, it was really impactful with the soundtrack. And then, you know, when Sarada told him that we should go with you, he just accepted it. Obviously, I do agree. Actually, I do think that he was supposed to accept it, to agree with Sarada, but it was done so quickly. Like, everything got, you know, changed in a couple of seconds, and it felt really forced. The execution, I would say, was the problem, which is, in my opinion, the biggest problem of the series. You know, execution of the ending of the Nue arc, execution of, you know, Kaguya's character, and a couple of other things. That's the only major problem about the Boruto series. Because, you know, the first 50 episodes, or I should say the first 49 episodes, focused on developing the characters. Episode 50, you know, the flashback episode, you know, we reflect upon everything. And, you know, episode 51 marks a new arc. Now, I mentioned this in my Boruto episode 51 review, how the tone got shifted. It's a bit different now, darker, so to say. And it still is. This episode did a very, very good job at showing that, it's getting really, really serious right now. When we saw all of these dead bodies, so to say, the people who were sacrificed for the Zetsu army that Kaguya was creating. And, Team 7 witnessed it. They saw everything. Also, during the fight between White Zetsu monster, I should say, and Team 7, Zetsu was cut a couple of times, and it was only black. Now, I think it got censored, because, obviously the episodes we are seeing are, censored because they're being shown on TV. When you get a CD version, it's not as censored. That's usually how it goes with all anime. I could be wrong. Maybe it was literally black, but I assume it was censored because it was literally like a black nothingness, if you get what I mean. And it was supposed to be blood. At least that's what I think. But I don't even know why I'm talking about this. It's really not important. And now that I've mentioned the fight, apart from that forced Konohamaru moment that I think is forced, obviously, this part of the episode really kind of hurt my brain, so to say, and because it was so obvious that they dragged this out, because what they wanted to do is have this episode last for like 20 minutes, and then they added like a Sasuke scene at the end. Now, my prediction before the episode was that, we were going to see Sasuke versus Kinshiki at the end, which didn't happen, but we did see Sasuke, Momoshiki, and Kinshiki at the end. If you missed it, they showed it after the ending song for some reason. I really don't know why. And it feels like they got ahead of themselves. And they literally dragged it out so they could have Sasuke for a couple of seconds. I think it would have been much, much better if this was, cut down to 10 minutes and then, seeing Sasuke versus Kinshiki. But it's just the way that, the writers, animators, I don't know who, decided to do. Why do I think it was dragged? Well, Konohamaru should have been able to solve it in the first 10 seconds of the fight. You could make an argument that he didn't want to go all out at the beginning, but I mean, what the fuck, bro? I mean, I remember Team 7's first mission. That was like episode 40 or 41, one of these two, something like that. And there were these two bandits, right? I don't even know their names. They're pretty much irrelevant. They're pretty much typical Boruto one-dimensional villains. Because that's the only thing we've been getting in the Boruto series so far from the villains, except Shinji. He wasn't one-dimensional. But what I'm trying to say is, he didn't want to kill the guy, obviously. He did the Rasengan literally next to him and the guy fainted, right? Because he was a living human. And, obviously Konohamaru is a bit soft, which is understandable. I don't think that Naruto would kill him. Many people from Konoha are soft, which was one of the biggest weaknesses of Konoha ever since, the entire thing with the villages started. Even Hashirama was naive. And what I'm trying to say is that he wasn't trying to kill him because he was a person, right? He would feel bad. But this is a monster. He knows the history of White Zetsu and how they threatened the shinobi world. And it just doesn't make sense that he didn't do the Rasengan straight away. Yes, the beast did fire, all of those different nature jutsus or whatever. But come on, Konohamaru could have, created a couple of clones, distracted it, and, he could easily do the Rasengan. And like that, I don't know, guys. I really feel like this was dragged. And he could have literally, he should have taken the gas bomb, threw it at him, and he should have just Rasengan the shit out of that thing. And I was thinking about this. I didn't want to make this review straight away. I rewatched the fighting scene a couple of times. I may not know how to transfer it into words 100% perfectly, but it was definitely dragged, and there were so many tiny moments when something should have been done. For example, Mitsuki, why was he standing during the first clash between Waizetsu and Konohamaru? Again, you could say, well, he was relying on the Jonin, but no, there's too many what-ifs. Like, what if he was relying on Konohamaru? What if Konohamaru wasn't trying his best? No, fuck that what-if shit. You can use it sometimes, maybe once per episode, but it's just too much. It's just too much. This was dragged. Logic did not exist in this episode. I mean, not in the episode, I mean during the fight, those couple of minutes, that's what I'm referring to. So, with all of that being said, I still don't think the episode was bad. I just feel that Konohamaru's, decision was kind of forced in the way he, changed his mind after a couple of seconds. I mean, he shouldn't have said it in the first place, but even so, he shouldn't have changed his mind so quickly. That part was forced, and the fight made zero sense. But the other positives were the soundtrack, which I already mentioned, Boruto's inner struggle, how he wants to get acknowledged. And I really liked the moment when they showed, Konohamaru's words about, not overestimating your power. And then, they would show Boruto on the screen once again. Those parts were beautiful. I really liked the interactions between Team 7 and Sarada, saying that's what you get when you're a Genin, something like that at the end of the episode. I really liked Boruto's reaction when he heard Sasuke's, accomplishments. Because in the movie, he meets Sasuke for the first time and immediately he likes him, which kind of felt forced. But that was a movie, right? You had time limits there, and now everything makes sense. He heard that Naruto considers Sasuke as his equal and as his rival, basically. He heard that he did so many things that he can travel with his Rinnegan. Through different dimensions and all these cool things about Sasuke, and he kind of has an idol right now. And I mean, Konohamaru addresses, like when Konohamaru mentions Sasuke, he's like Mr. Sasuke, which I found really strange, but it literally shows how much respect Konohamaru has for Sasuke. Also, at the end of the episode, Naruto came with the clone. And obviously that is some type of foreshadowing that something might happen with Naruto's clone in the next episode. The next episode is titled Himawari's Birthday. You guys saw the movie. You know what I'm talking about. And I was thinking about the rating that I would give to this episode, and I decided to give it a 7 out of 10. That isn't a bad rating, but judging, I guess that I gave off an impression that I was going to give it some lower rating. But no, it's just the negatives that I mentioned. I wanted to explain them really well, because I don't want anybody to think that I didn't like the episode. That's why I talked about it for so long. But actually, the episode had great moments. And, the Sasuke, Kinshiki, Momoshiki scene at the end, it's a mystery. It makes you want to watch the next episode as soon as possible. Obviously, we all saw the movie, so we know what's gonna happen. But if we look at the anime only, that's a very powerful tool, introducing such a cliffhanger at the end. And as I said, the episode had many good aspects, but it's just I can't give it 10 out of 10. That's the rating I gave to episode 51, because that episode was fucking beautiful. It was literally flawless in my opinion, but this episode did have a couple of flaws, as I already mentioned. Anyway, that was your boy Hokage. Twitter and Discord links are in the description below. If you're new to the channel and if you're into Boruto, consider subscribing. And if you haven't seen my live reaction to the third opening, it's gonna pop up in the next couple of seconds. That was your boy Hokage, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.